want you for a lifetime. You're my favorite movie.
Ayo guys, what's up? It's me, Fang I3anger. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you another Black Ops 2 ghost stories. And I know y'all have been waiting for this and everybody has been enjoying the ghost stories. Unfortunately, at some point, I guess I might run out, but maybe then I can start like telling other people's stories, or I can do some kind of like high school stories or college stories. I don't really know, but in this video, you're going to be seeing me play on the new map pack. I'm going to be on, I believe, Domination in a map called Mirage, and I'm using a gun called the Peacemaker. Apparently they now have a new gun called the Peacemaker, and it's pretty awesome actually. I've now found out since I got Select Fire that it's even better. So I'm a big fan of the Peacemaker. I believe we do end up losing this match, but I decided to put it in here anyway because I dropped a 50 bomb, and I did really well. The rest of my team was just completely terrible, which is what you'll find when you play with Ranbobs in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 online, and if you're not the host. But I might have been the host, I don't know. It was easy for me to kill people, though. We just ended up choking like at the very end and lost by like 3 or 4 points or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this story so it doesn't take up too much of the video, or maybe it won't take up all of the video at all. So we'll check it out and see how it goes. This story dates back to, I believe I was 13 years old, and this is in the same house. If you haven't heard the story of the shadow figure I saw laying on the beanbag next to my stepsister, you should go back. It's the very first Ghost Stories video. But I'm in this house. It's the 2-story house that has the really big living room that has high ceilings, and you can look from the loft into the living room. And I'm living at my dad's house. I have been here, I believe, living with them for like a year and a half now, because I didn't move into my dad's house with him until I was like 12 or 11 or 12, something like that. And so it's the middle of the night. Well, let's start back. Let's date back. Me and my family, my stepsister, my cousin Joey, my dad, and my stepmom watched The Sixth Sense, which at the time was like the creepiest freaking movie ever. So put on top of everything, I'm watching like The Sixth Sense that night, and we go and watch that movie, and I'm just like terrified afterwards. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to go up into my room and go to sleep? I even question possibly going and sleeping with my parents, because like not in their bed, but I used to like make a little pallet next to their bed whenever I was that age, because I would get like really scared. And so I was like, maybe I should do that. And I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead. And I go up to take a shower after we watch the movie, take a shower before I go to bed. I don't want to go to bed dirty. And after I take the shower, I'm just like, doing my own thing, coming out of the bathroom. I'm in like a towel. I've clothed obviously, but I have like a towel on my head, and I'm walking into my bedroom, not thinking anything. Like, I'm just totally, like, not even thinking about anything. When you get out of the shower, you're just like, da-da-da-da-da. And if you remember what happened in The Sixth Sense, if you haven't seen that movie, you should. It's really creepy. But if you don't, or you haven't, there's a little girl that, like, gets killed by her mom. Her mom, like, poisons her. Or it's her stepmom, I think. Her stepmom, like, poisons her and puts stuff in her soup. So at one point she dies. And, like, The Sixth Sense is totally based on, like, a kid who sees dead people. I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen it, but there is a part that I'm going to give away. And at one point, he's walking into the girl's room, and she's dead. So, like, she's not obviously there, but he's walking in there trying to figure out some clues, the little kid is. And out of nowhere, all of a sudden, a hand reaches out from underneath the bed and grabs the kid's foot. And he's just like, ah, screaming. And after he screams, he looks down below, and it's a little girl. It's the little girl's, like, she's the dead person, and she's like trying to show him where he should go. So that's like a terrifying thing, because I always, my whole life, even before I even thought about ghosts or anything, I've been terrified of like the boogeyman being under my bed or something like that. So I was like, nothing could make me more scared than something being under my bed. And of course, my stepmom thinks it would be funny to, as I'm getting in the shower, I'm walking like towards my closet to put stuff in my closet. She reaches out from underneath the bed and she grabs my ankle, and I literally go into shock almost. It's like no screaming. I didn't even make a word. I just, and I just fell backwards, almost heart attacked. And it was like I turned whiter than I've ever been in my entire life. She felt so bad afterwards, because when she saw like how white I was afterwards, she was like, oh my God, I didn't mean to like scare you that bad. But it scared the living shit out of me. So to top off this night, I was already scared as hell, and I still decided to stay in my bedroom. So in my bedroom that night, I went to sleep pretty late, like around 1. And in the middle of the night, I close everything. I'm so like crazy about like my closets being closed, checking under my bed. I do all that kind of stuff. Like my door has to be closed, my closets have to be closed, and I have to check under my bed before I go to sleep. It's just a thing that I do. It's like OCD, and it will never change. So I've done all that stuff. I've laid down to go to sleep. I'm sleeping for however long now. And I start getting into this, like, sometimes in your sleep you'll get into this, I don't even know what it is. It's like in the middle before you hit REM sleep, and you're kind of asleep and you're kind of awake. And it's like a consciousness of like you can see what's going on in your room, but you're really kind of still in your dream and you're asleep. And so I was having that moment, and in that moment I heard like a voice, literally a voice that said, "Wake up." And so, I mean, whether that was in my dream, coincidence or not, or that was something else, I had no idea on that. So like I wake up and I'm like, you know, sweating in a cold sweat. And I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, was that my dream? Was that real? And so I flip on the lights really quick. Well, as I flip on the lights, this could be coincidence, but I don't think it wasn't, because I never, ever don't not close my closet. The closet was like partially opened, just a little bit, a crack of it opened. And I had, at that age, I was a big wrestling fan, so I had a Stone Cold Steve Austin, like, actual life-size stand-up that was hidden in the closet because, you know, my parents didn't want that out in my room. They were like, "You're crazy." And so in that little crack in the closet, the only thing that was showing out of it was Stone Cold Steve Austin's eye. And so at this point, I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm freaking out, and I'm like, I cannot sleep in here tonight. You know, I go down to my parents' room, and I'm going to go to sleep in my parents' room. And their door is locked. Apparently, who knows what they were doing that night, but I was not able to get in, so their door was locked. And I was like, all right, last choice. Me and my stepsister were not like extremely close at the time, but if I was freaked out enough, I didn't give a shit if I was close to her or not. I was going to go sleep in the same room with her. So I'm like, I'm going to go sleep in the same room with Summer. And I get in there, and like I'm like, "Summer, you know, can I sleep with you?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess, you know, whatever." She knows that I like get really freaked out about stuff like that, and she doesn't for some reason. She's like not scared of that stuff at all, and she never has been. She's like one of those type of people that can watch Chucky movies, or like she can watch the Leprechauns and all that kind of stuff, and it didn't scare her one bit. So I was just like, okay, so I'm gonna go sleep with Summer, and I get in bed with her. We like talk. I can't ever like go right to sleep whenever I'm staying or sleeping with somebody. So we like talk a little bit, have conversation. I tell her like what went on with my room or whatever, and I was just creeped out. And she was like, yeah. She was like, I've been having like some kind of like creepy stuff too, you know. She was telling me something about like she feels like when she wakes up in the middle of the night, she looks over to the right. She had like a little entrance that went into the bathroom. It was like a little like hallway. She feels like in the little corner that's like it had a, what would you call it? It was like almost like a nightstand, I guess. She feels like someone's sitting there watching her, and she looks over, but because it's so dark, she doesn't know if she's just seeing shadows or if someone's there, but she's always felt like somebody's sitting there watching her, and she was really scared of it at the beginning. And then she kind of said she just got used to it. And if it's somebody, then it is. And if it's not, then it's not. But maybe, you know, it's like back to that whole thing where, you know, it could possibly be your dad or it could be somebody else. Who knows? But so we're sitting there, and then we go to sleep. And I'm probably asleep for like an hour at most. And just in the middle of my sleep, I like see, like I get jolted. So I'm like, what is that? It's like somebody has jumped on or off the bed. And I hear a screeching scream, and I'm just like, what the hell? And so I'm like in and out of my sleep, and then my stepsister just flashes on the lights, and it just looks like she literally like just saw a ghost, if you have that feeling. And like I have the hairs are sticking up. I feel like extremely cold, and the hairs are sticking up on my arms. And I'm just like, what the hell, Summer? Like, what's wrong? What happened? Why are you screaming? And apparently she said that she woke up because she like heard something, and she looked over like to the left where the window was, because that's where she thought she heard it from. And when she looked over to the right, she said in between us, she saw like a silhouette of a black shadow of a figure laying down in between us, and he was slowly, like from above, lowering his hand to come down to hold her hand. And it scared the living shit out of her, not to mention me, but I didn't get to see it. Obviously, I was like half asleep, and I was in like a freaking shock terror because she was screaming bloody murder. Even like my parents heard her, and they had to like come up. And so obviously this is not like a ghost story where I got to completely, well, although I had paranormal activity happen that night, I didn't get to completely see it, but she swears up and down that he laid in between us. And that's weird because I woke up, and whenever you see a ghost, or when you're in the presence of a ghost and they're trying to like be near your body or around you, the hairs on your arms stick up and you feel really cold. And I woke up feeling like extraordinarily cold, and I had the hairs of my arms sticking up, so I know that it was true and that was there. So like that leads me to believe that like at this point in this house, we're wondering like, is this the same person, or is this like different people? What's going on here? What caused this in this house? We don't entirely know exactly what the story behind it is, and we never actually got to figure out exactly who it is, but a lot of different stuff happened in that house. So it was really freaky. That was like a moment where at that point, not only had I seen the ghost that was the silhouette on the bean bags in the house, but also my stepsister freaking got terrified and shocked because she saw something laying in between us. Imagine that. Imagine you're sleeping in bed and it's laying in between us, and it slowly came down and just rested its hand like on her hand. And I would have to say that was like a moment for me that made me like happy, because I was like explaining it to my family. My family was like, nah, you know. And so it was a big moment where I knew that my stepsister was seeing the same thing too. And there's another thing that happened. I think that I'm going to leave it, that has to do with this side of my family. I think I'm going to leave it for the next ghost stories video. But that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget that I do like to hear your ghost stories, or if you have anything that's going on, I do like to hear about it. I'm sorry about the scare face from last time. I did not put a scare face in this one. Hopefully that'll lead y'all to want to watch them a little bit further. I'm not going to do that anymore in any of these videos. But I do believe in ghosts. I do believe in paranormal things. I don't know if I believe in like poltergeists, although that's supposed to be, you know, demonic stuff. That could happen. I guess if I have to believe in one, I have to believe in the other. But I have gone through a lot of that, and I have some stories that some friends have told me, and then I have maybe a couple more of my own. And we'll see exactly how this series goes. I hope y'all enjoyed, though, this episode of Black Ops 2 Ghost Stories. And yes, as you see here, we lost by like 4 points, and I dropped a 50 bomb. Unfortunate for me that I had a so terrible team. Maybe at some point I can start trying to get this video and gameplay like with actual subscribers, and I can be like, hey guys, you want to come help me beat some people in Black Ops 2, because I'm tired of dropping 50 bombs and still losing to the opposition. Anyway, that's it guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, get Fang Bang nerds.